What an exciting couple of weeks it's been for new game announcements. So much so, we're discussing 9 upcoming PS5 games that have us salivating in anticipation in today's episode of the PlayStation Access Podcast. Hello and welcome to the PlayStation Access Podcast, the official podcast of PlayStation UK. I am your host, Rob Pearson. We are joined today by Rosie Caddick.
Hello, everyone.
And David Jackson.
Hello.
We are also joined by a never-ending torrent of video games that just keep coming out. They keep getting announced, and we can't keep up with it, quite frankly.
We can't.
I don't know how many times I have to express this sentiment, but if everyone could just stop making amazing games for just 5 minutes, I might actually be able to play them all.
Yeah. What do you think? Like one announcement a month? Could we cope with that?
As in like an announcement or a release a month?
Oh, well, okay. Oh, God, now we're getting into releases. You can have one announcement, one release. Okay?
And then leave it as that.
I mean,
Not each. Okay, everyone has to coordinate.
We've said this on the podcast before, but I think I've long come to terms with the fact, and made peace with the fact that my backlog, I should stop calling it a backlog. It's just a pile of games that I'm not going to play all of them in my life. There's not enough time. Anyway, there have been even more games over this last week that have been freshly announced.
Yeah.
Some updates to games we already know about, some brand new, very exciting reveals. So, as we typically like to do after a big event like this, we've had State of Play, we've had Summer Game Fest, loads of new games have been announced. We are going to just pick 3 each to be excited about, and the rule is they have to have been announced within the last week or so at one of these recent events. As we record this, so when it goes out, maybe 2 weeks. Just recently. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the rules. We know the rules.
We've each picked 3. We're going to talk about them. You know how it goes. We're going to be excited.
But stay around because we might have some new exciting things.
And if you want a fun game, listeners, pause the podcast right now and just guess which games we might all have picked. I've got some thoughts. I wonder which game was top of Rosie's list.
We'll find out. Only wonder.
We'll find out.
You won't guess mine. No one's going to guess mine.
I guessed one of yours.
So mysterious.
Actually, you did, Rosie.
I did, because I'm also very excited for that. But, can't take all of them.
No
I'll
way
pass
you're
it
guessing
on.
mine.
Dave, I'm going to come to you first.
Whoa.
Give us your first recently announced game coming to PlayStation that you're incredibly excited about, and why, please?
The first game, which one shall I pick? I'll pick Lego Voyages.
I really like the look of this.
It's I'm picking it for 2 reasons. One, because I think just the trailer and the look of the game is excellent. But 2, secret booster for me is that it's by Lightbrick Studio, who made Lego Builder's Journey, which was a game I played on PS5 a few years ago. I think it was like 2021 or something like maybe even 2020. I don't know. 2021 probably. And so I know the pedigree of this game. That it's a booster for the trailer is excellent, but this is and this developer, that they know what they're doing. What they're doing is making Lego that looks even better than Lego looks in the real world, for a start. I don't know how they do that. And Lego Builder's Journey, the game from a few years ago, was kind of like a geometric puzzle Lego adventure with a really sweet story, and it basically gave you Lego to solve problems. It wasn't very prescriptive. It was kind of like, here's a little Lego problem, you can solve it using Lego. Like Lego, this is what's so great about it, is it's just gives you Lego and lets you build with it. And then on top of that, there was a creator mode, and Rob and I had a lot of fun on a stream in creator mode for some reason that I honestly can't remember, building the one pig that we
the greatest pig ever.
Yes.
And then we asked the community to build their pigs and send them in. And there were some great pigs.
Yeah.
Were they even greater pigs than your pig?
No, ours was the one pig.
You were the one.
Even if they were greater,
there were some other. There were some other one pigs though. There were some pretty good pigs.
There were. So if you enjoyed that stream, then you then you will know what we're talking about. But this game, so this is their next game. It's that same incredible engine that they're using that makes Lego looking just so beautiful. You know, those little imperfections. But it feels like a real world. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how Lego does this. Like Lego just does this in the real world with its bricks, its actual physical bricks. We all know this. It can just become anything. It's incredible. So they're doing that, but this is much more of a much larger kind of, rather than little geometric sort of islands that you inhabit and you solve puzzles on. It seems to be much bigger. I wouldn't say like open worlds, but much larger levels that you're going to move through and travel through in co-op. So this is a co-op game specifically, not a single player with a co-op mode. It's a co-op game. It's couch co-op and online co-op available. They've already announced that they're doing that brilliant thing where only one of you needs to own the game. So one of you gets the game, and then you can play with any friends you like, which is so good for games like this. And it seems to be more of that, like, have a bunch of Lego and solve problems. So you're trying to move through this world. I saw lots of physics puzzles, like you've got to get over a gap and there's like a little seesaw thing, and you sort of think you can use the seesaw to propel yourself, but actually you have to build sort of an extension onto this seesaw to give you the velocity to get across. It's that kind of thing. You need to build a staircase, or maybe there's loads of different ways to solve the same problem. But the point is that you and your friend are just these what would you call them? Like a one by one brick. Like a little, there's little tiny, little thin, tall ones.
No, you play as a wanna.
You play as a wanna, and your partner is also a wanna. So you're kind of a very small brick in a very large world. A little nub, trying to bigger than a nub. Not a nub.
It's got like the really big eye as well, hasn't it? Kind of like the it's like the Duplo eye.
You've lost me on the Duplo. This is Lego. It's very different. Very different.
From I can just see the red. There's like a red rabbit or something as the logo. It's for like the one range of Lego.
Yeah, no,
toys.
Duplo. I know what Duplo is. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I'm just saying that this is Lego. This is adult. This is big boy stuff. This is big boy stuff.
Come on now.
The eyes were so big and cute.
Yeah,
they were very big and cute.
Yes. Well, I believe that these little characters that you're playing in Lego Voyages also have little eyes, one little painted eye each. And yeah, so you're going around the world together. Clicking together, clicking little things together.
I love the clicks.
Rolling, jumping, tumbling. And having recently played Split Fiction, and I love co-op experiences and purpose-made co-op experiences like this. And remembering Lego Builder's Journey, I'm just super excited. It's such a treat for the eyes. And you know me, I'm all about the mechanics, gameplay mechanics, and this is just another pure mechanics game with incredible visuals. So very exciting for me.
I've been trying not to laugh because for some reason in my head I've had that meme where it's a rare photograph of a great white shark stepping on a Lego. Have you seen this?
No.
It's just a shark's head coming up out of the water going caption. It's just that it steps on a Lego.
Yeah, stepping on a Lego I enjoyed that a lot.
And a great thing about Lego Voyages, there's no danger of actually stepping on a Lego because it's a video game.
Exactly.
There's no Lego to step on.
No. Well, I wouldn't put it past them somehow. They're that good.
It jumps out the TV screen.
Yes.
Rosie, let's come to you with your first of 3 video games announced recently for PlayStation that you're very much looking forward to.
Well, I was, of course, going to mention a Sega title because Sega
Rosie,
just been dishing out the goods.
Don't mention a game that you're not going to talk about.
You've got to be.
You've got to just mention the game that you're going to talk about.
3.
I am.
Zoom in. Focus. Tell us.
Yes.
You can do it.
Yes, but I can't talk about one thing, but I can talk about another Sega title.
Okay.
Yes. And this other Sega title that I can talk about is Sonic Racing Crossworlds.
Oh,
see, I've come up with a Sega backup for the thing I can't talk about yet, but I can talk about this. And not only can I talk about it, I've actually played a bit of it.
Oh, you have?
You show off.
Yeah.
You show off. That's not okay.
Oh, if you haven't seen the short yet of Rosie going into the toilet at the new Sega office, go and watch that because it's amazing.
It's amazing. It never gets old to me. Literally, even when you're sat in like the cafe area and you just hear like a Sega in the background, like in the distance. It's
someone's
like,
off for number 1.
Who's gone to the toilet?
Does it happen on the way out as well?
Yeah, just whenever you open the door.
Whenever the door opens.
Yeah, because I had it where I was then looking at the walls because they've got pretty patterns on the walls in the toilet, and then someone was waiting for me and I didn't realise. So like someone was waiting outside, I opened the door just like, Sega! And I was like, oh, sorry.
I enjoyed that little detour. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, Rosie, you've played it, so give us your hands-on impressions and why you're looking forward to it.
Really, really blooming enjoyed it. I went in there already excited because from the trailers that we've seen in general, it seems to go back towards the All-Star Racing Transformed games, racing games that they did a few years ago, and I played that.
I loved All-Star Racing Transformed.
Yeah, I played that a lot with my friends, and it's a really good racer, so I was really excited to see how if this is really going to be coming back to that sort of formula where you've got like different modes of traversal and stuff. And it did, I had really fun time. One moment being on the road, and then you're flying, and then you're in the water again. It's got I'm sure we've all seen from the trailer now from Summer Game Fest, it's got like loads of characters that they're introducing, including Ichiban from Like a Dragon, which I absolutely loved. And literally when I saw that on the trailer, I screamed because I didn't know that was a thing. So literally I was like, ah! So, yes, that was amazing. And it just, the race tracks were really, really fun. The music is, you can hear like loads of remixes of songs that even for me, there was one moment where I went into a casino and I remember thinking, oh, imagine if they did the casino area from Sonic Heroes, and there was a little remix of that, and there was, and I was like, oh my god, they were one step ahead of me. I loved it.
You should be just an ideas generator at Sega. You should do this.
They fit in your
Sega,
head.
if you want to hire me for ideas generator consultancy.
Yeah.
You know what, you can contact me. But
my god, you'd leave us just like that, Rosie. You'd just drop us.
Rob said I could do it. Do it for Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega. Of course, I'm only joking. But so that was a lot of fun as well. I have to say as well, the other racers, the NPCs, I don't know what difficulty we were racing at, but they were picking up a fight when I was racing. I went into it, not doing the tutorial and stuff, so I was getting used to the mechanics and the drifting, and they've got loads of things where it's like you can customize your vehicles and stuff. So I was just like, okay, I'll go for the drifter because, I like a drift and I like getting that boost after it. And literally, when you pick a character, you've got a rival. And I had Omega, who's like the robot character. And he basically just shouts insults at you the whole time. And I was like, thank you, Omega. Love you. What a guy. But literally, he was just shouting insults at me. And then he kept on overtaking me. And then he was far ahead. And I was really I had the moments where I'm just about to cross the finish line. And I was actually calculating. I think there was one moment where I came under Omega, but someone else went above Omega in the race, and I was like, okay, trying to calculate the scores. Essentially, I was like, okay, it's picking up a challenge, and I like this. This is good. And also, I really like the mechanic that it's called Crossworlds, so you're going to have multiple worlds happening in it, and I really liked the mechanic of whoever's first place gets to choose through like a magic portal ring where it is they're going to go.
Oh, right, cool.
So you've got like a choice of two. One of them you can see like a little preview of in the ring. Then the second one's random. So of course I always went random because you never know what you're going to get. So that was a lot of fun as well. And it was just it was just a really good fun time. And from the trailers they showed at Summer Game Fest, it just got me even more hyped for it, and seeing like people on the internet, they're hyped for it as well, and also like their reactions to Sega IPs being racers like Joker from Persona 5, basically seeing everyone being hyped for it, it's just made me more hyped for it as well. So yeah, that's the one I'm excited for.
I didn't know Joker was in it.
Yeah,
that is cool.
A guest racer. There was Joker, there was Hatsune Miku, I think that's the name of the star. I don't know a lot about them, but I do like their design. It's a very fun design. But yeah, there's lots of Sega like special guests popping in, including, as I mentioned, Ichiban from Like a Dragon. So yes.
Does it have to be said like that every time?
Yes.
I see. Well, I'm glad. My first game that I'm going to talk about is Romeo is a Dead Man, which was revealed at the State of Play recently. This was one of the best trailers I think I've seen in a very long time. Really got me intrigued. And I'm not usually one to, massively get excited for games of this genre, but there's just something about the creativity and the visual style of it, the genre hopping and the animation style hopping that went on just in the opening sequence of this trailer. You've got like it's a very sort of like rough anime style, a family sitting down enjoying curry night. It's curry time. We love curry time. And they're all enjoying a katsu curry. And there's a ring at the doorbell. Romeo goes to answer the door and he's just dead.
Yeah.
He's just killed by this inexplicable monster that eats his face. And his friend goes out. It's like, goes, okay, Romeo, I've got a special device, and just shoves this device in his face. And then we go inside Romeo's head. And I thought this was the game.
Yeah.
It was like a cartoon cell sort of swimming through the insides of Romeo's face. And I think the other character says to him, it just keeps keeping on. You're half a dead man now. Oh no, wait, you are a dead man. Just the riff comes in. Romeo is a dead man, and it's just Romeo, like a more machine than man, I guess you would call him, with a sword, hacking and slashing some monsters. But there's flashes of other animation styles, other graphic styles. It just looks so inventive, so out there, so unlike anything I have seen, and I love it when I'm surprised. I love it when I surprise like something. Like I'm not looking for this type of game. If someone said to me what would be the ideal game to be announced, I probably wouldn't have said an eccentric anime hack and slasher from Suda 51, but there it is. And I don't know what it was about it specifically that really sort of dug into me, but I'm very much looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think Rosie used the adjective bizarre when we did the after party, which I thought was absolutely perfect. It is nailed on the head. It's bizarre in the best possible way, you know. As you said, it's so intriguing. Like, what? I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what to expect from it. It's the power of a great trailer, really, which, and an amazing concept. But I know so little about it.
Yeah.
And then, there was a little interview afterwards with Suda51 who gave you like the minimal kind of top line bits of information that would just made it even more intriguing and more bizarre. Like a time travel or reality hopping FBI agent chase on manhunts.
Oh yeah, he goes like, I can't remember. It was like a space FBI agent.
Reality hopping,
hunting criminals through space time.
Yeah,
with the tagline "ultra violent science fiction."
Yeah,
but Suda 51 said, wait till you play the game, and then you can have questions answered, such as, why is Romeo a dead man?
Yeah, exactly. It's just fantastic.
Who knows why?
The whole state of play had a brilliant sense of humour, and this was like typified it. I thought it was such a great reveal. It was just so
one that definitely sticks.
Yeah,
it's not the type of game that I would consider myself to be like a big fan of. I'm just massively looking forward to it. Another game that fits into that category that I'm not going to be talking about in this podcast is Mixtape, which had another trailer at Summer Game Fest, but was revealed far in the past, which is a game about some teenagers in 1980s America, or maybe modern day America, but at least the soundtrack is 80s, just going on dreamlike teenage hijinks in this like sort of never-ending summer dream. Again, not something I would say if you told me that description, oh yes, I'm really looking forward to that. But something about that game I just think looks amazing as well.
I think it was.
I've cheated there and put another game in my list.
I think it was it last year? It might have been longer ago when Expedition 33 was announced, and that's not a game that or a genre that would usually excite me, but I found it incredibly exciting, and I was proved right there. So I think it's so cool when something.
Dave was right, everybody.
That's
the moral of this story.
That's what I just wanted to tell that story. No, but I just think it is super exciting when something from outside of your kind of realm of like, I definitely will love this. Pops in and grabs your interest. It's so cool and exciting, and it can turn out really, really well. So hopefully those two are gonna come through.
I think we're gonna be right again.
Yeah,
we've been in this gig a long time. We can pick them.
We know what we're doing.
We know. Yeah. Come on. So what's your next game, Dave?
My next game, I may have bent the rules slightly because it's not strictly an announcement, but a return to Pragmata, which
of course,
was in the state of play
I think you could probably class this as like it's been quiet for so long.
I think I was looking on the blog, and the last time that Pragmata was on there was in 2023, a couple of years ago, and that was just like with a little quick announcement. And before that, I think it's like over 4 years since the original sort of trailer, since Pragmata was first announced. And obviously it was back at State of Play and with a release window for next year. And really a sort of a more of a look at the gameplay, a bit more of a sense of what's going on. I've just gone and rewatched the trailer from the State of Play, and I've rewatched the announcement trailer, and it's like a good exercise because you start to piece things together. And the announcement trailer was very, very unusual. It was very weird. You kind of see this guy in this sort of exospace suit, seemingly in like a abandoned kind of Tokyo, or certainly a big built up neon sort of city, looking for someone who turns out to be this little girl, and then a massive satellite smashes through the sky, which turns out to be a screen, and they're kind of sucked up out into space, and then they seem to be on the moon looking down at Earth, which now makes a lot more sense having seen the new reveal or the new trailer, which has gone into a bit more depth, and I think we know now that we are on the moon, on like a kind of a lunar space station, and we know the characters' names. Diana is the little girl who is an android. It's definitely been confirmed. Her real name is some numbers and letters which I've forgotten, and the guy's name is Hugh.
I like that. Which is,
Hugh. It's such a
human Hugh.
Oh, Hugh man!
Hugh
My God,
man.
Rosie,
Nice,
you've
Hugh.
probably nailed it. Yeah, unless he turns out not to be human. But yeah,
who knows?
I think you're right. And you know, there's a little bit of information on the blog which I read about the game. Where they talked about a combination of action and strategy, which I thought was interesting, and how you control both characters but at the same time. And we saw Hugh is carrying Diana around quite a lot, and she has some sort of hacking abilities, and you're fighting robots and certainly machines. And I just thought that I think visually it looks incredible. Like the engine they're using is beautiful, and they're in this, really astounding lunar space station with views of the Earth kind of in the distance on the horizon, and these huge machines that they're fighting against. And I just really like the combination of characters. I really like that sort of asymmetrical idea of this big hulking man and this very small girl. But she's got loads of abilities he doesn't have that he needs, and he has abilities that she needs, so they become this kind of character together. It just seems really cool and mysterious, but I think mostly just the sci-fi setting and those two trailers I described together, that again, that sense of like, what is going on here? Why does it appear that there's like a simulation of Earth or an abandoned Earth on the moon? And why is like, what's happening where satellites are crashing? I feel like at the start of the State of Play trailer this time, Hugh has been put back together somehow by Diana, or he's been revived by Diana. He seems surprised to be alive. Anyway, it's very, very intriguing. I'm super excited by it. It just looks great. And I think I've said this about 8 times in the past 3 years, but Capcom are just... They're just every time they're releasing a game, it's just like another amazing game, another amazing game, another amazing game.
On, I mean, this generation.
Yeah,
you look at the games that they've put out. It's just banger after banger after banger.
It is. Yeah.
Capcom.
So it's just like, I just can't wait to play it. Just can't wait to play it. You just know it's going to be everything I want it to be.
Well, who knows? That might not be the last we hear from Capcom in this podcast.
It may not be.
It might not be. Who knows? So it's,
Did they have anything else?
I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
remember.
Yeah. We'll find out later. Coming to you again, Rosie.
Hello.
If you can compose yourself and deliver your second game, please.
My second game, which isn't my third game, which made me go... my second game is...
Done it again, Rosie.
I know. The second game is one that literally we don't know much about at all, but as soon as I saw it and I saw the premise of it, I was immediately sold on it, and it's Out of Words. It's a stop motion co-op adventure, I'm guessing.
Looks beautiful. It really does.
It looks stunning. Like, as soon as I saw it, I can't remember what it was, but I swear there was a TV show when I was a kid, and it had the exact same stop motion style as this seems to do. like with the more sort of like woolly kind of clothing and stuff like that. I don't know what it was. It's driving me mad. I was trying to think of it before the podcast. It's just not come to me. But it really did take me back in a weird way. But then also when you look at the co-op mechanics, it just looks like a really fun, puzzling adventure that you can go on with your co-op partner. I really like the look, how it's like, you know, at the moment it seems to be that one of them's like on the base floor, then one of them's on the ceiling, and then they can like walk alongside each other. And there seems to be a mechanic where they can like sort of jump in the middle, and from doing that, they can solve more puzzles together. There was a mechanic where there seemed to be like a gloopy ball thing that was like grabbing onto the wall. Like I said, we don't know a lot about this yet. We only just had like a little look at the trailers, but I just love the vibe of it. I'm really interested to know what's going on. Like it seems to be at the moment that only the two protagonists seems to be the one which like their mouths have just vanished, it seems, because you see clips of like other characters talking and stuff. So it's not as if this is a thing in this world. It's like our two characters, right? For some reason,
and the game's called Out of Words.
Out of Words, yeah.
So I'm really intrigued by that. It's got an adorable little blue thing, that just creature thing, and it just looks lovely, and like it sounds lovely.
Smiley little flannel.
Yeah.
Yes, it is,
I love the smiley little flannel. And yeah, like as soon as I played it, immediately I was messaging my mate Liam, and I was just like, yeah, we're playing this. Like, you know, when you just see something, like you said with like when everyone's been playing Split Fiction, for example, and everyone's like, I'm playing this with this person. I messaged my mate Liam, and I was just like, yeah, we're going to do this whole adventure together. So, yeah, super duper excited about that.
Always makes me sad, these games, when they're like, you see who partners up with who. And it makes me feel like when I remember at school, it's like, okay, everyone pick a partner. And I'd just be left.
No, Rob!
And I'd have no one to play out for with. Or Split Fiction.
I'll play Split Fiction with you. We just can only play it at very specific times that are hard to arrange. But I'd love that. Yeah.
I've already finished Split Fiction, but I'd happily play it again.
Second
you've
best.
Chosen, haven't you? You're going to play Out of Words with Liam.
Yeah.
Always prioritise Liam.
Who am I going to play Out of Words with?
I have to say as well, I do apologise. I might have also slightly accidentally cheated in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, because that was announced before, and this was just like
I did notice. I mean, you played it, for God's sake.
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I was going to say, hang on a minute. So, oops.
I've stuck to the rules like a very good boy. Sorry, did you have anything else to say about Out of Words,
I was going to
Rosie?
say, like I said, we don't know much about it yet, but I think, like, you know, from what I've seen, I'm very invested in it right now.
It does look very beautiful. Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of Unravel. Like It's got a little bit of that vibe to it. Like a stunningly beautiful world. And there was another game that I'm not going to talk about because that's cheating, and I've already talked about another game that I'm doing the thing I'm always tell you not to do, Rosie, so I will stop myself. But my actual second game, very exciting, Jurassic World Evolution 3. Welcome to Pathetic Park.
Yes, indeed.
Because that's what will happen. We'll definitely be live streaming this.
Yeah.
Just all day. Making a park. I love a little management sim, especially when you're playing it with someone and someone's watching you. Or I used to do this all the time with my sister. She'd play like LMA Manager, and I'd you make these little stories. It's hilarious. Like when we were playing 2 Point, not Museum.
Campus.
No,
it was Museum.
It was Museum, yeah. 2 Point
Museum.
Just the little stories that you create in your head about certain members of staff.
Yes.
And everyone had a sick bug, didn't they, in our museum? And the whole floor was covered in vomit for like an hour. And we had to quickly hire loads of maintenance staff to clean it up.
I mean, if you haven't seen our Pathetic Park in Jurassic World Evolution 2, do go and check it out.
Oh, it's truly pathetic.
One of the best endings to a stream ever, I think, was our review, like getting to experience the park for the first time.
Didn't you at one point try to create Ratchet or something as well, or was that in another?
That was in the roller coaster game.
Oh, that was in the roller coaster, right?
A lake in the shape of Ratchet's face.
That's it.
Yes. And our roller coaster in that game was amazing.
It was amazing. Another stream you should definitely go and check out. I might go and check it out.
But Pathetic Park, my first attempt at building a park in Jurassic World Evolution 2 wasn't very good. But what I love about these type of games is that you play it once, you learn all the things, and you start a new save and you make something beautiful. The trailer for Jurassic World Evolution 3 so inspiring when it comes to all of the things I want to make. There's a bunch of new things in there, like terraforming capabilities, adding waterfalls and lush vegetation to dinosaur enclosures, the amount of attractions you can make and the fidelity and detail you can go into when it comes to creating hotels and swimming pools. And someone was putting like a velociraptor statue in the restaurant area and making it a little bit bigger, adjusting the size of it. All these kind of things that you can really pay attention to.
Yeah.
But then the reason you want to play Jurassic World Evolution 3 or any of the games in the Jurassic World Evolution series is you want it to go wrong, right? It's the best bit. And sometimes you might just deliberately nudge it wrong.
Oh no,
just to see
suddenly
what
the
happens.
gate was unlocked to the
that's what you-
T-Rex enclosure.
It's brilliant to make an amazing park and then just have we accidentally left that gate open? I wonder what's going to happen now. I love it. I can't wait to do it. And there are some new things. It looks like you can make some boy dinosaurs now.
Oh.
So you can make, and so you can, they can breed, and baby dinosaurs can be born.
Wow.
And you can basically raise whole families of dinosaurs,
Aww.
which looks amazing. In the trailer, there was like a T-Rex parent and 2 little baby T-Rexes who had escaped and were roaring at the top of the hill as loads of people ran away for their lives.
Yeah.
I would definitely like give the surnames of the families. I'm like, now this is the Smiths, like in their little area there.
I love naming the dinosaurs, just silly names. It looked like there was a petting zoo type thing from the trailer. I just saw a man petting a baby dinosaur.
God.
So
That's safe.
just loads of really cool attractions that you can put in there.
Yeah.
And I love these types of games. They always evoke, or you get a real sort of, it's the wish fulfillment from the film, right? We've all seen Jurassic Park and wanted to have a go at making it ourselves.
Yeah.
I could do it better. I would truly spare no expense.
I think creative mode, which I'm sure must be in this game as well, is just very relaxing. You know, where it's like, don't worry about money.
Exactly.
Don't worry about any of the. Don't worry about which
the mode.
dinosaurs. No, just make a beautiful park. Make it. Spend as long as you like on every little detail. Name every dinosaur and name every staff member. And like, it's so like, it makes me desperately want to play it right now. Just want to sit back and relax and do that.
It does have,
And then save. Then open all the gates.
It looks
and watch.
you just create another save file.
Yeah.
And this is like the everything's gone wrong version.
Yeah.
And this is my continue. Because what I really liked doing, I was so proud of the park I finally made.
Yeah.
I think I tacked it on to the end of another stream we did. I was like, now come and see my actual park.
Yeah.
And we went on like a little first person, because you can sit in Jurassic World Evolution 2. I don't know if you can do this in Jurassic World Evolution 3, but I imagine it's the case because it was in 2. You can sit in the cars and take the tour of your park yourself.
Yeah.
And I just loved doing that. I would spend actual 20 minutes just sitting there experiencing the park that I'd made from the point of view of a family that were going around it.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Do you know what we should do? We should make a park.
Yeah.
And we should make it with all the dinosaurs that we know are in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And we should have, however members of staff we know are left in Jurassic Park in the movie Jurassic Park, like 7, however many there are. And we'll name them all, and we'll put them all in the control room, and then we'll unlock all the doors, and we'll just see what happens, and just see
what they do.
Who survives in this version of Jurassic. If anyone. Does anyone survive?
I hope Robert Muldoon survives. I
think he could.
I would love that to be retconned.
Yeah.
For there to be a sequel and it turns out we never see him die.
Yeah.
We just hear him scream a bit. He could come back with like half his face metal.
Yeah.
Robert
Do you know there was a
Muldoon.
version of Jurassic Park where he does do that? Not the metal face thing, but there was a version where he came back at the end and saved them, rather than the T-Rex, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would have loved
That
that.
could have happened. Yeah.
Not so clever now,
Oh, he's got a line and everything. Yeah.
And the velociraptors are blown to smithereens.
Yeah, could have happened.
Oh, I love Robert Muldoon.
Yeah, same.
Let's do that. We
Yeah.
should also just make a park, and then we invite other members of the office to come in and take the tour.
Right.
And we can be like in the control room in the gallery.
Yeah.
Arguing and telling them to be quiet because you're approaching the T-Rex paddock.
Yeah.
And in here they could be mucking around. They could make things go wrong, and we could simulate actual Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Great.
Rosie's
ideas.
just like, yeah.
I haven't seen Jurassic
I'm
Park in
waiting
many
to
years.
talk about my next game.
Yes.
Nod along politely.
No. Now you don't talk.
No.
Let's all look at
No.
Rosie
Yeah.
just for a couple of seconds.
No.
All right, Dave,
Yeah, well, you have to wait a little bit longer, Rosie, because it's my turn.
it's your third
It's fine.
Your
It's
third
fine.
and final game you are looking forward to that's been recently announced.
Yes.
Or had another trailer recently.
Yes.
Please.
This was certainly announced to me, although maybe not to everyone, and it's Wildgate. Wildgate is so up my street. I can't wait to play it, and I actually didn't realise there's an open beta right now.
Oh, really?
On PS5.
I did not know that.
It's running until the 16th of June, so running till Monday. So I actually want to stop recording this podcast so I can go and get the open beta downloaded and played. But it's basically a PvP game, although there is a PvE mode, I believe. And you take on, you form little crews of spaceships. Basically, you're a first-person character, and you are crewing a spaceship each, up to 4 players, I think, on a crew. And you're in space in an area I think called the Reach. And you are basically trying to find this artifact, I think. Loot this artifact, which will open the Wildgate and you can escape. But everybody's trying to do it. So, and it's very, very open in terms of how you approach the game. So, do you just be the last ship standing and destroy everybody else? Do you try and sneak and sneak in under everyone's noses and get the loot very quickly? Do you try and upgrade your ship and then go in guns blazing to get the loot? It's there's really no kind of right or wrong way to do it, and I think every which way will be attempted and will prove to have some value. So you each have different classes. You can be a robot, and for example, a robot has a perk where it doesn't breathe oxygen, so you can just go out into space. So you're in these ships and you're manning them. Maybe you're manning the turrets, maybe you're flying the ship, maybe you're repairing the reactor, maybe you're repairing the shields, all those kind of things. And you're having these space battles in your spaceships where you're shooting the turrets and someone's flying and whatever, and your ship's catching on fire and you have to stop flying the ship to put out the fires, all that kind of stuff. But also you can just leave your ship and you can land on planets, or not planets, maybe more like asteroids, meteors, large clumps of rock in space, or go and board other ships and get inside there and undermine them from the inside. It looks like chaotic, hilarious fun where you could actually take it really seriously too and become a well-oiled machine where everyone knows what they're doing, everyone has a very specific role. Or I can imagine it being just quite chaotic and no one knows what they're doing.
I know the former
best
sounds
time.
like your dream, right? You'd like a well-oiled machine.
I would love a well-oiled
where
machine.
Where you're the captain,
yes,
and everyone's doing what you say.
Exactly. I don't want to have to say anything. I want to just be flying and for them to know, I know what to do, Captain. That's what I want. But I mean, honestly, I'm going to get the beta downloaded ASAP and see if we could even stream it, because I think it would be great fun to play on a stream with 4 of us. It would be so good. But it's very kind of fantastical, the look of it. There's loads of different races and aliens involved. There's loads of different upgrades you can find for your ship. You start with a certain ship, but then within each procedurally generated map, you're finding upgrades and installing them to your ship. So you might find some amazing shields, or you might find some amazing weapons. The shields are kind of crunchy, so they punch holes in the shield. So then if you get a good pilot, they can be turning the ship to face the shields towards the enemy. It's I think it's really, really quite deep and exciting that people will uncover the best sort of strategies and the ways. So you'll get just some amazing pilot who's really good, who just joins your crew one day, and you get this completely different experience of playing. Or you have someone who's just sneaks off and gets and boards the enemy ship by themselves. I'm really, really energized about it, and I can't wait to play it. And so that, I believe, is out in a couple of months' time. But there's an open beta, as I said, available now on PS5 until Monday. So I'm going to be playing. So hopefully see you on the space battlefield.
Whilst this podcast is up now, Dave is
exactly.
playing it.
You can join me and be part of my
Encounter
crew. As
Dave's well-oiled machine.
As long as you
could be
do
a part.
exactly what I say, exactly when I say it. That's all I ask from my crew.
All right then, Rosie. It's time.
Hello.
Go on then. Go on then.
My final pick was one that was announced very recently, so I've stuck by the rules, which is Resident Evil Requiem, which I am so unbelievably excited for. Like, I just absolutely screamed from the top of my lungs. I sent many voice messages.
We received one.
You received one,
Yes.
yeah. That was mainly, it was you guys and Ashley Millman, and then obviously my boyfriend who was just on the receiving end of my screams as we sat on the sofa. But yeah, I'm just so excited
Right in
for
his
this.
face.
Yeah. It was like fully like, I had to grab something and like he just sat there and I just grab his leg and I'm just like,
Is this for you, Rosie? Would you say this is like the number one series for you?
Of series.
Your ultimate. If you're wishing for a new game, it's going to be a new Resi.
Oh
right?
my God, that's a big question.
Oh, so I've derailed you
That's
again. Don't worry about that question, Rosie.
I need to
Don't worry
think
that
about
question.
that. I need to think about that. But yes, I'm so incredibly excited for this. It's such a tease, this announcement as well, because already I was on a roller coaster with Summer Game Fest with Resident Evil because we had that little trailer at the start where, first of all, I started screaming because it was saying like, oh, Resident Evil 30th anniversary. And you saw like the clip of the first zombie you encounter in the first Resident Evil. And I was like, like, fully gasping, all air left the living room. Like, what could this mean? And then we just get a message of like, we're not ready to show anything yet. And it's just like, and again, I sent voice messages. I remember to Ashley Millman being like, they can't do this. I sent her many voice messages being like, they can't do it. And she sent them to me back being like, they can't do this. So
Why don't you just phone each other?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Great idea.
That's a good idea. But voice messages, you can. It was so bad that even the announcement that came after that, I remember Nika was like, oh, this has been announced. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm still so upset about Resident Evil. Like, I'm still messaging everyone about it. And then, not obviously upset, but instead of like upset in the sense of like, I want more.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the show, it was like, you just saw this office environment and it wasn't like obvious what it could be. And I'm sure that if you were like a hardcore Resi fan, you would have picked up very early on what was going on. But I was still in the mystery of like, what's this office environment? The FBI, okay. Like, what could this mean? What game could this be? Because they actually say the character's name very early on. And I don't actually know this name from the Resident Evil franchise because it's comes from the Resident Evil Outbreak games on PS2, which I have yet to play.
Oh, I see.
So I haven't played those yet.
This is what I was going to ask you, Rosie. Is there any connection from any of the characters we've seen to any of the previous Resi games?
Yes.
Because I didn't notice any.
Yes. So the character is called Grace Ashcroft in Resident Evil Requiem, and it's been established that she is the daughter of again, I haven't played Outbreak, but the main character, I believe, from the Outbreak games, which has also got the same surname, Ashcroft. I cannot speak today. So yeah, she's the mother, and we have seen the daughter who now works for the FBI, and she's been told that she has to go back to the hotel where her mother was murdered. So already I'm excited because now I've got even more of an incentive to finally play the Resident Evil Outbreak games. Then also just this game just looks stunning. Again, like you were saying with Pragmata, I was like, oh my God, the Capcom doing it again with the visuals. I'm like, it looks amazing. It looks glorious. And I really started screaming. I got like a little bit of a hint where there was like a distant shot and you saw like a massive like explosion hole. I don't know what they're called right now, but like in the middle of a town, where like something
Like a
big
crater.
happened. Yeah, like a crater hole. And I was there thinking like, okay, I have a potential suspicion, but there could be lots of stories that have involved this. And then as soon as you saw the broken down RPD logo of like the front gates, that's when it hammered it in.
That was the only time I thought, okay, this could be Resi now.
Yeah.
And then all of the monsters. I've just looked up, Rosie. In Resident Evil Outbreak, there's an investigative reporter called Alyssa Ashcroft.
That's it.
Investigative reporter of the Raccoon Press. And she had her memory suppressed by an Umbrella researcher to cover up an incident in the Arklay Mountains. She can pick locks and access areas teammates can't. And due to being referenced in Resident Evil 7 and appearing in the upcoming Resident Evil Requiem, she's the only confirmed survivor of the cast.
Well, spoilers, I haven't played it yet. Now I know that she's...
But no, you don't. It's only because of the Resident Evil Requiem reference.
Yeah, so like again, I'm very excited to like see the story of Outbreak and see how that goes, because all I know about it is that it's set after the events of Resident Evil 3.
Right.
So like, and that is when they decide to, you know, just basically evaporate Raccoon City. So we're going back into Raccoon City. We're like, you know, delving back into RPD, which I'm so excited about. Clearly things are still amiss there. There's still some monsters looming around. We had a little glimpse of one like climbing a wall and then crawling on the floor, you know, from wall to floor, that little motion. There seems to be people who are potentially becoming zombies. I don't want to say zombies yet. You know, Resident Evil, they've surprised us with like lichens and all sorts of different creatures, but it does seem to be a little bit like a police zombie.
I did really get vibes of the older Resident Evil games. Not just because of the Raccoon City Police Department reference, but also there's just something about the interaction between the two characters when he's giving her like the FBI files or the investigative files, and saying, I need you to go to this place.
Yeah.
I know that bad thing happened to your mum there. And I don't think it's been revealed anything of the gameplay yet.
No.
So, and Resident Evil has sort of like swapped styles through the years. So we've got the classic over-the-shoulder look, pioneered by Resi 4. Before that, it was sort of like the top-down controls, and then we went to first person for Resi 7 and for Village. So it'll be intriguing to see
like what path they take,
direction they go in with Requiem.
Well, I think also from memory, and I'm going to be paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure Jeff Keighley introduced the game with something along the lines of like, when I saw this game last year, because of course he did, Jeff Keighley especially, he was like, I was blown away by the scope and scale of what their ambition.
Wow.
Something like that.
Oh.
So, you know, it does suggest that, well, just to be very excited about what this is going to bring to Resi.
Yeah.
Maybe
it feels like a game that's going to do something different to what we've seen before.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, it's just a guess.
I think it
but
looks,
I'm just getting that feeling about it.
It looks like it's really going to be a mixture, because I completely agree with you, but it also does feel a bit like classic Resi in a weird way. I'm actually also quite excited to go into this from more of a FBI angle, because one thing Resident Evil does really well is actually telling its story through documents, like little random documents that you find. Famously, for example, even in the first game when you had this famous story of Itchy Tasty, and you just read all these just little snippets of documents hinting about more what's happening in the game, what's happening in the story. So I'm actually really looking forward to, you know, from an FBI angle, I'm sure she's going to have loads of documents. Like already, you could see she was writing up stuff about, you know.
the in tray, yes.
I do like that as a survival horror setup, playing as an investigator or a journalist rather than like an action hero.
Yeah.
As we have sort of become. Like Leon Kennedy starts out as a police officer. He's more like an action hero now. Chris Redfield, definitely an action hero. So I would be intrigued I just like that whole walking around slowly with a torch, rifling through drawers, the slow burn. Yeah, scary stuff.
I do agree. It's the FBI angle that really excited me. I mean, I have to sort of pinch myself a little bit, or I struggle to say that I'm excited for Resident Evil Requiem, but also I have now played Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, 4.
You play the first remake?
Yes, I did.
I think that's the scariest one.
It's terrifying.
So it's absolutely terrifying, yeah.
But Resident Evil has this hold over me, which so I don't think I can deny that I am excited about it, really, even though it really does terrify me. And it has the potential
It's testament to the quality of
is.
Resident Evil that even you, a man famously terrified and avoids horror games.
Yeah.
It's just, I've always said this about Resi, it is very scary, but it's so compelling.
Yeah,
exactly.
That overcomes the fear.
Definitely.
And it gets that balance just right where you're just a little bit more intrigued than you are scared.
Yeah.
And opening every single door, turning every corner. You're always just holding your breath, but you have to know, you have to find out.
Yeah.
And it's magic, isn't it?
But it's the FBI angle of this one that is that intrigue for me right now.
Yeah.
Like knowing very little or nothing about it apart from the trailer. I'm I found that character, that whole setup really exciting and interesting. You know, she's snowed under all the paperwork at her desk, and there's some sort of obviously like old case or something that's in the back of her mind, and then she gets into this horrible situation. And I'm hoping for a character whose weapon is their mind, their knowledge, their skills in that, you know, investigating and solving the mystery, as opposed to maybe someone who's like a great shot. Although she's in the FBI, so she's probably both. But yeah,
not
totally
only that
agree.
as well, but we also had like a little glance of like, I mean, a character who was like, oh yes, you are the chosen one. But it's not as if like it's immediately like, here's a big scary monster. They kind of gone for more like a, you know, like a Albert Wesker sort of vibe, where it's like, you're just going to see the back of my chair as I'm sitting here looking very sophisticated and suave. So maybe it's also going to be like a battle of wits. I don't know. I'm just very excited.
I love a good cheesy Resi villain.
Like, yeah, and so that's the thing.
That's what you want, isn't
Don't
it?
even know if this is the villain or not, but I'm just so excited. I'm very excited.
It's going to be great. We need to wrap things up, and we will do it with my final pick, which was a very pleasant surprise for me. That is Persona 4
Yay!
Revival, a PS5 remake of Persona 4. I think possibly a personal preference for me over Persona 5. Just the setting, the setup, the vibe, the characters, the music. There was something about Persona 4 that I absolutely adored, and I wanted to be part of that gang of friends so badly. Like, it was the first Persona game I played, Persona 4 Golden on PlayStation Vita. I remember playing it on the train, coming to and going home from work, and I didn't have access to the soundtrack, and I loved the battle music so much that sometimes I would just get into a battle, put my PlayStation Vita down and just have my headphones in for the whole train ride home, just listening to the battle theme.
Your game hours are like 100 plus hours.
Yeah. 100
Like
hours
when you're in chapter
just
1.
sitting in this battle. But it was so cool, and I remember my friend had explained Persona to me before, and explained about the whole, it goes in, you have to manage your time and you have to hang out with your friends, and thinking, oh, that sounds rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to do that? And then you do it and you just realise how brilliant it is, and how well defined and how well written all of the characters are. And you just find yourself missing those characters when you're not playing the game. It's like, I want to go back and hang out with Chie and Yukiko and see what's up. And sometimes those are the most fun bits. And then you get to do the cool stuff where you go inside this parallel paranormal world and fight terrifying monsters to a really cool soundtrack while this amazing anime cutscenes happen and you finish enemies off. It's just so wonderfully stylish, and to know that it's getting like a beloved reimagining is incredibly exciting.
Is there any story link between Persona 4 and 5?
Not that I'm aware of. As far as I'm aware, I'm not an expert on the series by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe each story is its own self-contained.
Yeah, they're like their own self. But Igor in like the blue velvet room, like, you know, like he'll just pop in, and then he's always like, oh, like, you know, like, you seem like a very special individual. If anything, he's just like, you know, the link between all of them. But each character's got their own
like
thing.
Chocobos in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
They're always just there. Igor from Persona and the Chocobos.
Chocobos from Final Fantasy, yeah.
I really
Sounds like a great band.
I saw like a meme or something at one point which said like, Persona 3 is all about this. Persona 5 is all about, you know, fighting the corrupt adults and stuff. You know, like, yeah, you're thieves. And it's like Persona 4, it's a Scooby-Doo mystery. And I just really like that angle. And I'm just like, yeah, Persona 4 is a lot more like, it doesn't necessarily be like, yeah, you have to take down the corrupted adults and stuff. It's just like, here's a mystery, go solve it.
So good.
It's so blooming good.
The setup of it, Dave, is like a serial killer is on the loose, and I think they only kill when the weather is foggy. And so when you're managing your days on your calendar, you can see the weather forecast and when fog is due,
cool.
and you know, he's probably gonna strike again.
Yeah.
And the way you battle him is by going into the TV world. So like this mysterious TVs that you can just reach into and go inside. Whereas in Persona 5, it's a different mechanic by which you enter, like through the inside of the minds of the people you're trying to, steal, manipulate them and make them, or kick their asses basically, but make them see the error of their ways.
Yes.
But I love the vibe of Persona 4.
Yeah.
I think it's cool as hell, and I cannot wait for that. We should give like an honourable mention, I think, because none of us have put it on our list, but it was incredibly exciting to see the reveal of 007 First Light from IO Interactive.
Yeah.
Like, how exciting is that? And there's going to be, I believe, a more concrete gameplay reveal later in the summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Look out for more on that.
We talk about pedigree, and it's just like IO Interactive and Bond. Together, it just makes so much sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I can't wait to see more about that.
Makes a lot of sense. Can't wait to see more either. And as soon you can rest assured, as soon as that gameplay is revealed, then we will have more discussion about it in a future podcast episode, in a video on the channel, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do leave us a comment if you are, telling us which game you're most excited for. And the rules are, it has to be one that was announced within the previous. Don't do what we've done and cheat.
Yeah, no cheating.
I haven't cheated at all.
Yeah,
well, you came up with the rules, so they were very clear in your mind.
Yeah, it was a very genuine mistake, though. Genuine mistake.
Well, I think what we can all agree on is that there is no end to the excitement if you are an enjoyer of video games. They just keep coming out. They just keep getting announced. And what a great time it is. What a great time it is to own a PS5.
Very much so.
So yes, thank you very much for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of the PlayStation Access podcast. Thanks for listening.
PlayStation